Summer is amazing, except for when you put on your makeup, you go out there, the sun hits your face and you feel like melting, and then you feel like dying, and then you don't know what to do. So in this video, I'm going to help you to avoid all of that. I'm going to show you how I survived the summer with makeup, and I'm also going to show you my go-to summer look. So if you're interested, just keep on watching. Hola mi gente, thank you so much for being here. My name is Mariluz, and in this video I'm going to show you how I do my makeup in the summer months, and I'm also going to show you my go-to makeup look. But before I do that, please don't forget to subscribe and join me in this makeup journey. And if you're feeling any extra today, join the notification squad so you get notified every time I upload. Now let's get right into it. So before we even start having fun with makeup, the first tip I have for you is do not neglect your skincare. Do not. I know as an oily skin girl, I kind of like stepped away from moisturizers for the longest in my life, and it's exactly the opposite. You have to moisturize your skin. So I made sure I moisturized my skin last night. I actually don't moisturize in the morning because if I have to moisturize in the morning, I have to wait until it sinks in. At least people recommend like 30 minutes, and I don't have that time. So the second thing that you want to make sure is that you exfoliate. I exfoliated before I started this video. My favorite is the Freeman Charcoal and Sugar Scrub. I love this one. It eliminates all my dead skin, and that's why you want to exfoliate. Actually, I have a lot of breakouts, as I have acne prone skin, and while they're dry, there's a lot of dead skin around, so I want to exfoliate to eliminate all of that. After that, my skin feels velvety smooth. I love how my skin feels afterwards, so don't forget to exfoliate your skin. Also, before you do anything, please wash your face. I know it's easier to get carried away, wake up and makeup, but I always like to wash my face. It eliminates that extra oil of my face, and it just gives me like a clean canvas to start with. No matter how you feel and think that you don't sweat at night, you always sweat at night, so make sure you wash your face. Now I'm going to start with the fun part, and the next thing I'm going to do is prime my face. I gravitate towards two primers. The first one being the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I love this thing. It really smooths my skin and gets it ready for makeup. Or you can also use the Professional from Benefit. This one like minimizes your pores and it's a little bit more mattifying. So it all depends on your needs and also on the foundation that you're going to use. I like to use the Smashbox just because it works better with the foundation that I'm going to use today. So the next thing that you're going to use is foundation, obviously. I can't stress this enough for oily skin girls, but the Estee Lauder Double Wear is my go-to foundation when I'm going out in the summer. This one just doesn't budge. It holds my O's like any other foundation. But if you need a drugstore foundation, I really recommend the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. That one is really good as well. It holds my oils really well too. The only issue that I have with it is that it doesn't last as long as the Estee Lauder. So I make sure I use the Estee Lauder Double Wear. But if I'm going to use the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte, I like to use it with the Professional instead. So that's a good tip for you. Now, before you go attacking me, I actually don't use SPF. I think that this foundation does have SPF, but I can't prove it because it doesn't say it anywhere. So I'm not too sure about that. But if you need an SPF, I found this Shiseido sunscreen and I feel like it's amazing. It's just a little tiny thing and it's really expensive, you guys, but I've tried it to go onto the pool and it doesn't leave my face oily, and I love that. So if you want to invest in a really good SPF, I would recommend this one. Now, if you're a little deeper than my skin tone, I'm not sure if you like this because it does have like a white tint to it. I was reading on the reviews at Ulta and people were complaining about the whiteness, like it had like a white cast to it, but actually it didn't bother me, and once you keep like working it into your skin, it disappears, at least on my skin. So if you want to give it a chance, I would recommend this one because it smells good. It doesn't smell like sunscreen because I hate that smell of sunscreen and I hate that greasy feel to it. This one does not do that, so I really like it. But anyways, I don't put SPF on my skin at the moment. I'm going to use just the foundation. So I'm going to just use one pump this time and I'm going to apply it to my skin and I'm going to blend it with the Beauty Blender. Now when you're using a beauty blender, the coverage is more sheer, so I always apply more. So once my foundation is blended, the next step is concealer. And for that, I use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. There's no secret to it. I use it in the shade Light Neutral, and I like that it's mattifying, but it's not too dry on your skin, so it does not budge, but it doesn't make you look older, if that makes sense. So I apply that in the under eyes, and I also highlight my face with it, and I even carve my eyebrows with that. But yeah, I'm going to use concealer. Don't use a lot, but this thing a little goes a long way, so I just use like 1 or 2 dots in the under eye and a little bit on my lid to prime my eyes. Do you hear that? I don't know if you can hear that, but it's funny. I'm talking about summer. It is summer and it's raining outside. It's been raining like almost every single evening in Florida, and it's annoying. I mean, I know that it's okay to rain, but Jesus Christ. I want to go into the pool. Like, I wanted to go to the pool after this, and I can't do it. Anyways, no more ranting. I'm going to highlight my face, and I'm going to apply that right on the middle of my face, and then just gonna put like a line through it. Always be careful with this area right here, and then just 1 dot. Now after I blend all that out, I make sure that I blend under the eye well, make sure that there's no creasing before I go with setting it. I set it with my RCMA no color powder. You can use any translucent powder, one that works for you. If you're feeling extra that day, you can also bake. The way that I would bake is using a wet beauty sponge, and I also like to set up where I highlight it with the concealer. You also want to set your smile lines, guys, if you are a happy person and you know it. So how am I looking? Do I look like a ghost? So now, while you are baking, you can start doing your bronzer. I like to use bronzer instead of contour when I'm in summer because I want to look more bronzy. So I'm going to take my contour brush. This is the large angled contour, the Sigma F40. And I love it because it's angled and it fits right onto my, the hollows of my cheeks right here. But now I'm going to clean the excess powder off my face. Just take any fluffy brush and swipe away. No, I don't know if I told you this, but sometimes I feel like with the RCMA no color powder, I look like I still have like a white cast. For that, I like to use my beauty sponge, any type of beauty sponge. It doesn't have to be the beauty blender in this case. And I go over that powder just to sink it into my skin, and it takes that white cast away. So now that our base is completely ready, now we're on to the fun part of the summery look. I always like to play with colors. That's my favorite part of my makeup steps. So one of the things that I really love to use is blush. I love to use the Too Faced Love Blush Blush. This one right here, and I like to use it in the shade I Will Always Love You. It's like a peachy tone. It has a little bit of shimmer to it, and I like that because it gives me like a more natural glow, like a glow from within. So I like to apply it in the apples of my cheeks and a little bit over my bronzer. I use the Real Techniques blush brush because there's no other brush better than this one. When I'm in my summer months, I like to look more like orangey tone because it complements my skin even when I'm not tan, because actually I'm really bad at tanning. I don't go out too much. I'm more of an indoor girl, to be honest, except for when I go to the parks with John. But lately I'm just working and really into work and all that stuff. So one thing I also do is I use a blush topper. Even though this one has a little shimmer to it, I always like to use a blush topper. And a blush topper is more shimmery shade, but it has like really sheer kind of coverage. I like to use the Papa Don't Peach blush. This one, if you use it by itself, it's more like a highlight to me. That's why I use it as a blush topper. But I apply that into the brush again and just go over my blush. So now that I put my hair down, I feel more normal. But now I'm going to the eyes. I'm gonna let the highlight for the end. One trick that I always like to use, not only on my go-to summer looks, but also on my everyday looks, I like to use my bronzer, the same bronzer that I use to bronze my face, and apply it on my crease. But I do have the Too Faced Peach palette, so I will like to use that today. I actually still use this palette as my go-to summer because I use one of the shimmer shadows for my lid. So I just rather use the entire palette instead of combining it with my bronzer. I hope that makes sense to you guys. But I'm going to use Puree in this palette, and it's this one right over here, like a more brown. If I would use the bronzer, it would be the same kind of undertone, but still a little lighter. Okay, so now that we have our crease, I'm going to use this shade right here called Lucius. This is a shimmery peach tone color. and I like to apply that all over my lid. Now I'm going to highlight my eyes, obviously, and in this palette, my favorite highlighting shade is called Nectar. It's this yellow right here, because I think it's one of the most intense highlighting shades in this palette. So I'm going to apply a little bit, and I'm going to put that in my inner tear duct and on my brow bone. So I'm going to take another pencil brush and I'm going to use that same shade that we applied on the crease. We're going to apply it on your lower lash line. I'm not going to use lashes, but that can be a total option for you if you want to look extra. Okay, now that our eyes are done, now it's time to highlight our face. And for that, I like to use a Becca highlighter. This is in the shade Opal. Another great color that complements my skin is Champagne Pop. But since I've been using this one lately, I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to apply it with a tapered highlighter brush. This is the Sigma F35. And guys, I feel like I just learned how to use this brush properly. I would use this brush like up and down, and I think the best way is to just like feather it on my skin instead, because it gives me like a more natural glow. It doesn't look like a straight strip line of highlight, and yeah, it works best. So I'm going to put that on the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow. I'm going to put a little bit on my chin because I want to be glowy, and I'm also going to put that on my forehead. Now the trick here is after I do that, I blend that with a beauty blender because I don't want it to look glary. I want it to look natural. So once I finish, I just like blend that right onto my skin with the beauty blender. So now that our highlight is done and we look glowy and almost ready to summer, I'm going to apply lipstick. I always like to use a lip combo. I like to use the Urban Decay lipstick in the shade Sheer Liar. It's a sheer lipstick, but it's kind of like a nude neutral tone to it. And I also like to apply gloss because I feel like in summer you don't want to look too flat, you want to look glowy and youthful, and lip glosses do that for my skin. So I like to use the Marc Jacobs. This one is the Enamored High Shine Lip Lacquer in the shade Taboo, but it's actually a really thick lip gloss, and that's about it. I don't use a setting spray. I know a lot of people do use setting sprays, but I kind of don't like to use setting sprays. I would recommend the Urban Decay All Nighter, but it doesn't work for me because first, I just don't like the smell, and second, it breaks me out. So the other setting spray that I do use is the Slay All Day from Gerard Cosmetics. This is in the scent Peach. I like this one a lot, but when I'm going out there and I'm going to be outdoors, I don't use a setting spray. I feel like whatever I have on my face right now does the job. But yeah, that is about it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hoped it helped you out in some way. If you liked this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye. Now it's raining outside and I can't go into the pool, so I probably just go and have some Starbucks because I am starving, and I love to have a croissant with a little bit of chai latte with almond milk. My favorite. But I also need to change this foundation, the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I got it in the wrong shade. I got it in the shade Valencia, and I'm Barcelona. I kind of knew that. I still want to prove that I was right and I was wrong. So I want to change this foundation. But the thing is, I went to change can't remember the name, but I wanted to change another foundation and change it for this one. I got the wrong shade, so I have to go and change it again. And I feel like so subconscious, I just don't want to go. I feel so embarrassed when I'm changing a foundation. I'll probably go into another Sephora. Does that happen to you? Just let me know.